You're listening to the Renegade Blitz, the best podcast for Steelers fans by Steelers fans. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at RBlitzPod, and at Blitz Videos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app.
And welcome back to the Renegade Blitz podcast. I'm Ty Polk with Chris Ward and Brandon Walker. The Steelers have officially announced their 53-man roster, and we are now T-minus, I'm bad with numbers here, I guess 13 days, maybe less, until the Steelers kick off their season in Cincinnati against the defending AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, football's right around the corner. The preseason's done. Training camp before that. So it's good to finally, college football starts tomorrow. There's a huge Pitt, West Virginia game at Acrisure State. I was going to say Heinz Field, but yeah, over there on the North Shore. So, that should be interesting. I'm just looking forward to the Steelers season. And, man, they have a tough test there week one right away.
Yeah, beware, guys.
Oh, yeah, defending AFC champions. We're going to see right away what the Steelers are made of. We're going to talk about September 11th football. That's going to be there. We'll say that for September 11th. But how do you guys feel about the roster? Any surprises? Anything you want to talk about the roster? What I think is, I think that they got the roster somewhat right, except for a couple of moves. They should have cut your boy, first of all.
Hey, he kind of did better. I know that long run, I think it was on 3rd and 17.
They should have cut him. Cut your losses.
I'm
sorry. I can't help myself.
No, you can't help yourself, but you did manage to at least have one tweet on record, and I made sure on the podcast account that everybody knew that Brandon Walker gave Devin Bush some props, and we want to talk more about the behind the scenes, but there's a lot of things that are probably shocking. I think on the offensive side of the ball, the fact that Benny Snell Jr. is still on the roster, but it seems like it was more of a special teams move, and Anthony McFarland released, but is currently on the practice squad, which was kind of shocking because he had a pretty good preseason for what it's worth. I mean, of course, Jaylen Warren came out of nowhere to make a roster spot there, but I thought that McFarland, I'm going to take a look at the rest of the roster. They're holding 7 wide receivers, which is kind of with, the Steelers wide receiver depth. I think they could have afforded to stay at 6, but then again, I guess they're still playing in the 4 wide, 5 wide stuff that was much commonplace with Roethlisberger.
Right, and plus you still gonna play. You got Sims and Olszewski for special teams too.
True.
You have 2 special teams type players there, so you gotta emphasize special teams. Like I remember at the end of the Lions game, we're like, they recovered it. You see, special teams is 1/3 of the game, and also. Yeah, so, yes, Benny Snell, he's not worth much as a running back, but he knows how to stick around.
Yeah, special teams, like Ty mentioned, is basically what got him. Because as far as a running back, he just doesn't have that burst, which I do like with McFarland. And I was really impressed with Jaylen Warren in the preseason. So it should be interesting to see if they move up McFarland at any point during the season. But, the receivers, I think they might put Austin on injured reserve. Possibly because he didn't play at all in the preseason. He was dealing with that foot injury, so maybe that's why they kept 7 receivers. I don't know, but other receivers look good. I liked Sims, what I saw. Boykin even, he had a nice catch there on Sunday. So
did he make the team? He made the team.
He made the team.
Okay,
which felt weird because I think aside from that, I was expecting Tyler Snead, if I remember his name correctly.
Tyler Vaughn.
Tyler Vaughn.
Vaughn, yes.
Yeah, he didn't make the practice squad. They had Cody White as receiver. So far, that could change possibly, but Cody White's dad is also in the organization. He's in the scouting department. So I saw some people on Twitter were saying that because Tyler Vaughn, he didn't make the practice squad.
Oh, White made the practice squad.
Yeah, but I should mention that there's still 8 spots left. You could have 16 players on the practice squad, and they only announced 8 so far. So he could still make it.
I'm surprised Adolakun is not on that list so far, and I imagine because it seems common to have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, 2 of them at the very least are on the practice squad. But
he signed with the Chiefs. He
did.
He signed with the Chiefs practice squad today. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's a good thing for him.
Yeah. And Justin Lane got claimed by the Giants.
Yeah, I think that when you look at a lot of what the Steelers are doing, I mean, even Connor Hayward making the team, it's clear that they're putting a premium, I guess, especially in a season in which there's so much unknown in the biggest position, quarterback. And granted, this is kind of a reach in me saying it, but you've seen Brandon did talk about it. Special teams is 1/3 of the game, and you can have a situation where you can be like the Chargers in 2010, in which you have the best total offense and total defense in the league, but you're sitting at home at 9-7.
That's like with the Steelers. You need your special teams. If they're gonna make the playoffs and win the 9 games that they want, it's gonna be a total team effort. They don't have. Well, they do have it on defense. On offense, it's not proven. They don't have 100% surefire, high-end talent that can bail them out of games anymore. Those days are long gone. So it's going to be a team effort, and I said this. They're a team that's going to have to be lucky in the turnover battle this season. I know I'm like veering off the subject here, but it's gonna be in a lot of close games. They can't afford special teams errors and mistakes. They looked a little shaky at times in preseason, so they need all the special teams help they can get.
I guess also John LeGlue, he made the practice squad, but he got released too yesterday. So Kendrick Green's on the team. This guy, I figured they would have kept him, but he hasn't looked good at all. But I guess they don't want to part ways with their 3rd round pick from 2021 just yet.
And they traded for an offensive lineman, Jesse Davis from the Vikes.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to him. I heard he is washed up. He gave up 8 sacks last year. Yeah. Our colleague Nick Faribault said that the tape don't look good. Yeah. He has a lower PFF grade, and you emphasize this a lot, Chris. So
yeah,
that 52, that's a failing grade to me.
Yeah, I didn't feel too confident when a bunch of Dolphin fans on Twitter were tweeting at us saying that this guy's not good and stuff, and they were all saying like Brian Flores must like really like him or something to bring him up there, because I guess he was like a punching bag down there in Miami. Like he just wasn't he didn't perform well, and the fan base really didn't care for him too much. But it should be interesting.
And another thing that was also suggested was this. He eventually starts at right tackle, and Okorafor starts at left tackle. How do you guys feel about that? I think that would be it.
Yeah, they might have to do that with Dan Moore. The way he played in the preseason, it was like he looked like he'll be unplayable to play in the regular season. Like who he's going to be going up against? Who Hendrickson? Is that the Bengals pass rusher?
Yeah.
Yes, he's going to have his hands full. Week 1. I know people were saying that like the new offensive line coach Pat Myers like changed his like philosophy on like how to like strike your hands and stuff and block, but I don't know, like he wasn't great last year, Dan Moore, but like he wasn't this bad. I didn't think he was. Like, what do you guys think? You guys
he was what you expected out of a 4th round pick, literally being thrown into the Wolves. I think it's worse than the Wolves, honestly, especially in the AFC North with how premium pass rushing is in this entire division. So, yeah, he fared well, but there has to be something worse than a turnstile than what he was in the preseason this year. I think a traffic cone is better, but I can't. I mean, the thing is, the Steelers basically put themselves in the ultimate lose-lose situation. They never even addressed it at left tackle, and I know everybody wants to say about Tevin Jenkins, but Tevin Jenkins in 29 for the 2019 pick is not good. Alex Leatherwood, a guy that you were talking about on this podcast, Chris, got released by the Raiders, and I'm just I don't know what's up with the offensive line in this league in terms of young offensive linemen who we're finding out that even if the Steelers ended up picking them up, we're not going to be any good. So they're so, at least maybe they might have a better chance in a second location, but man, it's brutal out here.
It's like they can't practice like they used to in college.
Yeah.
They can't get physical like they used to. That's the issue. That's how like poorly developing these offensive linemen. And plus, yeah, Leatherwood, he was a first round pick. What year? I'm thinking
2019.
2021, right? Was it?
Oh,
No, 2019. I think he was one of them, or I might be wrong.
Leatherwood?
No, because
I thought we talked about him on the podcast, like because we started.
I'm so confused because there's like 15 million things we were looking. Oh my god! If he's 2020, no.
2020.
No, wait, hang on. Everything's messed up. We're confirming this live on the podcast. No, 2021. Oh
What?
my god!
Second year and they cut him?
He's on the Bears right now, coincidentally.
Wow.
Well, because John Gruden and Mayock, the whole regime is gone now. So they you know how sometimes when new coaches come in, I guess
1 year?
yeah,
Oh my god.
1 year, bruh?
and no teams
Yeah,
wanted to keep him either. That's how bad he was his rookie. Like I don't know, like I know coming out, like people they did have concerns, remember, but they did like him because like he was at Alabama, he's like a big offensive lineman and stuff. But I don't know, sometimes when you're at Alabama, you don't pan the NFL. You're not gonna always be great and stuff.
I thought that at least a first round pick out of Alabama, I thought that at least bought you 2 years in this league.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels, maybe he wants to. Maybe he's doing that Belichick mode, like hey, he wasn't here when I was. He's not my draft pick, so like we're gonna get rid of him.
Yeah, but especially with a team that basically in a AFC West that is basically a arms race in every sense of the word. I think with the consensus, and this is very, very light, possibly worst quarterback in the division, you want to have guys out there that can protect or at least have a pedigree to protect out there.
Apparently he doesn't. Because everybody said that he was a reach when he got drafted. Everybody.
He moved to guard.
Yeah, they were mentioning like he's more of a guard or something like that. I can't remember. It's been a while, but I remember like,
he would be better than what the guards that the Steelers have right now.
he probably would be.
Like,
Yeah.
God.
That's insane.
Well,
First,
they missed on Kendrick Green, like pretty much. Like not. It looks like it just from what we've seen for a third round pick. I mean, he doesn't like. I mean, unless he turns it around, I don't know. But like he just looks really bad. Kevin Dotson's okay, and James Daniels so far has been really disappointing just from what we saw in the preseason.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just an absolute mess out there to be an offensive lineman.
What about Jason Peters at 40 years old?
That's all the Cowboys are looking at him.
Oh, what about you think you get Coke's what's his name? Whitworth out of retirement? Because
Probably not. I don't think
no,
so.
because they were
he's not
roasting him
coming
on
to Pittsburgh.
93-7.
He won a Super Bowl. He won a Super Bowl. Man, he won the game. He got to literally do it the way that everybody wants to retire. You walk off the field a Super Bowl champion. Why would you want to even risk that with a team like Pittsburgh, which is not even potentially in the mid-tier of the league? When you think about it, with offensive linemen, you're basically saying, "Yo, get off the couch and lead this offensive line."
Basically, that's what they need to do. It wouldn't hurt but try. Because he said he was horrible.
Who?
Horrible.
Who?
The fan. They heard him. on the thing, on whatever. He said that he was horrible.
I love the fan, but also I can say this right now. I think they do a lot of sensationalist stuff as I snatch a fly out of here like a Mr. Miyagi. I mean, I think it's a little bit sensationalist for it to go after something like that. I mean, if he expressed interest, but also you know how the Rams are. If he's coming back as a Ram. And they sit guys for the entire preseason and say, don't even worry about playing these 3 or 4 penny ante games. You're going in at the regular season. If he's coming back now, it's as a Ram to run it back.
You're right, but still, it wouldn't hurt but to try. It wouldn't hurt to just ask.
Overpay him?
Yeah. How much are you paying Devin Bush? You're overpaying them by like a lot.
So what do you think? This, obviously the offensive line struggled in the preseason and everything. Do you think they're going to be like the bane of the Steelers' existence this year? Just like how do you think that's going to play out with either Trubisky or Pickett starting? Like they both are mobile, which people are thinking like, okay, maybe that can make up for the offensive line and stuff. But I don't know. They got to run the ball too with Najee Harris, so it's just like. I don't know. What do you guys think about the offensive line this year? You think it's going to be really what's going to derail them?
What did I say last podcast, Chris? What did I say?
What'd you say? I don't know. I don't remember.
I said they were the worst offensive line.
No.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they made their bed with the offensive line. Like they haven't invested in first and second round picks. Like I mentioned, I think they missed on Kendrick Green. Dan Moore's a 4th round pick. He's starting at left tackle. I mean, it's not that like these later round picks. You should hit in your first 3 picks. It's not that like these later round picks, can't develop and be stars because it's obviously happened before. Just that you want some like blue chip players there, like first and second rounders. But and then I don't James Daniel. I think they might have misevaluated there on that big free agent signing.
Like I said, if you're gonna pay this dude 9, you could have gotten somebody for 12. They had the cap space. That was the thing. You could have gotten somebody for 12, 13 million. You got to pay top dollar for offensive linemen, or draft them.
Yeah, or have a really good offensive line coach. Like I know, Munchak's the best in the league, but like there's only so many good offensive linemen out there, and if you're going to get these later round picks, you have to develop them. And, Pat Meyer just became the offensive line coach. So it's like too early to tell really. But I mean, it's like the 3rd offensive line coach in 3 years, I believe. I mean, you want to have some consistency there at that position.
There's just a lot. Whenever you look into it. I mean, I don't think any coach could really fix this situation, but I'm pretty sure that we all know if the Steelers do not have an offensive lineman in, I'm not even going to say the 2nd round. It's got to be 1st round. If it's not in the 1st round next year, this is going to be the first time that I actually look at the Steelers organization and go, what are y'all doing? What is this?
Well, look at
like me?
Yeah. Well, look at the Oladokin pick. Remember how we questioned that the 7th round? He basically didn't barely even got any snaps in training camp, and then he gets released. No one claims him, and now he's with a different team. Like they could have spent that 7th round pick on an outside linebacker or even an offensive lineman. I mean, look, a number of years ago they developed Calvin Beachum in the 7th round. So, I mean, I'm saying like it's just a 7th round pick, but I mean, you could develop a player there instead of get a backup quarterback that you really didn't need.
This is 2 straight years in which they've basically thrown away a late round pick. Roche last year, and now Odulakun, who I'm pretty sure did some nice things out there in college, but it felt like it was basically saying, yo, we need another body at quarterback here in training camp. But there was so many better ways they could have went with it, especially how we knew it was going to end. It felt like it was more or less, we needed a quarterback because sadly Dwayne Haskins passed away. And that's and that's not a good way to do business, especially if you don't plan on using him. That makes you question what we're going to do if Haskins makes it to training camp.
Right. Like, yeah, why do you draft? I don't know why people draft people just to cut them as a rookie.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. If you're gonna get what bodies, just get undrafted free agents. Get like future contract, future reserve contracts.
Yeah,
you draft somebody, and you give them at least a year.
I'm gonna check the 7th round and see who if there was any quarterbacks taken in the 7th round. I'm willing to bet there was not a quarterback that was taken in the 7th round.
Probably.
And they could have gotten this guy for an undrafted pick.
Yeah.
I'm quickly going there. Stall for time while I look.
Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, what did Spoken Jim? Spoken Jim, he ripped the whole draft pick. All of them. So I want to bring this.
No, he didn't rip Pickens. He did not. I don't think he ripped him.
He did gave it a D.
Oh no, he didn't. I thought you said Pickens.
That's the only one he did not rip.
Yeah, he didn't. He knew everyone that we've talked to said Pickens is like the truth. But I want to bring this up because I was thinking about this today. I know because we were both a little bit skeptical when they drafted Kenny Pickett. What do you think now after you saw the 3 preseason games? 2 of them that you're at. Do you I'm starting to think. I know it's still early, but I think I might have been wrong. I don't know.
He looks like a solid NFL quarterback.
I not said that. I said he's a.
You said he was a Kirk Cousins, right?
Kirk Cousins. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with Kirk Cousins. He ain't gonna win no big games and get big teams.
Maybe if he becomes Kirk Cousins plus if he could do that. Yeah. If he could do that, if he can have more you like that games, then yes, he's Kirk Cousins plus.
Yeah. I think I said
he was.
His high was, I think, my comparisons, because he did kind of remind me of Tony Romo, like when he rolls out. So I think he was my high, and then like my low was like Andy Dalton, like that, like as far as the feeling and
which
stuff.
is solid.
Which ain't bad.
Yeah.
Oh, for the record, here is exactly who they could have got. There's only 3 quarterbacks that were taken in the 7th round. Odulakun was the first off the board. Then you have Skylar Thompson, and then the final pick of the NFL draft, Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy from Iowa State, Thompson from Kansas State.
Wow. But still, it's they could have just drafted a lineman. Like, it's crazy what. Because I talked to Ray about this. I was like, why draft somebody just to cut them as a rookie? And it's like, I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
It is the way they go about. You see what pisses me off about the Steelers is this. They do arrogant stuff because of their past. Like, what worked in 2008 ain't gonna work in 2022. Having not invested really enough in your offensive line ain't gonna work in 2022, especially if you don't got Ben.
Yeah.
And plus, they have spent $23 million on their offensive line amongst their 5, and they overpaid 2 of them.
Let's take a look at the last decade for the Steelers, and you think of the big bell cows in terms of being offensive linemen. 2 of them were in the 1st round. It was Pouncey and DeCastro.
Yeah.
They really didn't. When you really look at what the Steelers did offensive line wise in that time frame, if it didn't pan out, we'd be talking about the same thing in 2016.
Right. That and then. Yeah, and it's like the last episode. Sometimes you get lucky and get a Villanueva or Ramon Foster, but that don't happen a lot. You gotta invest in your offensive line.
But I will give everyone credit that keeps on yelling hire Mike Munchak, because that was the guy developing them.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I will give credit. If you're going to go I will give credit to people who think that way. If you're gonna go hunting for bargains in the offensive line room, then you need a guy like Mike Munchak. You need a guy like Bill Callahan, who are proven offensive line guys. I will give you that. But if you're not gonna do that, then you got to go out and get high level talent. You can't be out here hiring guys that jumps. I said it accidentally wrong because I was thinking too fast. Jump ship to Oregon.
Yeah. Adrian Clem.
Like, come on, that dude wasn't even that great anyway.
He got in trouble in UCLA.
Guy.
He got in trouble for hazing in UCLA, so there was a red flag with him.
Yeah. Like, he's a college person. He's a college coach.
It's one thing if you get in trouble for not handling it in the pros. It's another thing when you're doing it in college. If you can't, for lack of a better term, crack the whip effectively in college, the hell are you gonna do in the NFL?
That's what I've been. Like, this is the problem. This is what I have. Like I said, I love Tomlin dearly, but he needs to start hiring more people that are, that knows a little bit more about certain things than he does. The problem with Tomlin, as I say, he wants to be the smartest guy in the room. That's what I'm talking about. Like, he wants to be the end all, be the man, and like, get a Mike Munchak, another Mike Munchak in here. You did a great thing by hiring Brian.
Yeah, that was a great hire.
I love what he's doing with Mark Robinson.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think about that Buddy Johnson got released?
Mark Robinson stuff.
Yeah. When you have two late round picks and one that actually did something and one that maybe you can argue didn't exactly get enough chances to see if you could do something. But if he's doing it in day one, I think you take a look at this guy, especially at how dire the situation is at middle linebacker.
Yeah, he looks like a party crasher. Like what you say. We're not somebody that could crash into the park. I don't know.
You need some Drake stuff. You need to go God's plan out there.
Yeah,
that's how he's a crasher to the party, man.
He's a crasher to the party. Better than what I said.
He was a fourth round pick in 2021. Yeah. And then Justin Lane, that's another, you bring up offensive line, that's another position the Steelers have, over the last decade or plus have struggled to draft. He was a third-round pick.
Yeah.
Lane, he just never really developed with the Steelers, and like I mentioned earlier, he got claimed by the Giants today. So any other defensive cuts or depth chart things that you guys noticed?
I'm just going to say this, man. If it wasn't for DeMarvin Leal, I would tell the Steelers right now, stop going to Texas A&M for draft picks. But that's another thing.
No, he knows how to. He's another party crasher.
Yeah, he looks like he could be the truth as well.
Yeah, he looks like a. I think he could be another, like, you could use him in sub packages. He looks like a beast out there. Can he play nose? Or is
I think he could play nose in a sub, maybe, but he's big. If he keeps up with it and develops a couple pass rushing moves, he could be one of those guys that kill the party out there as a 3-4 defensive lineman, kind of similar to what they needed Cam Hayward to do over his time here, and also especially last year.
Well, of course, like, we ain't gonna call him. Hold up, time out.
It looks good.
One of the best defensive linemen outside of Aaron Donald. We ain't to say. I would compare him to more like Tuitt.
Okay, fine. I'll take it. Tuitt, whenever everything was rolling for him, was probably one of the top guys out there that you can have as a pass rush duo with him and Hayward. Right. I will give you that.
So what do you guys think about the trade for Malik Reed? They really needed something outside linebacker there.
Someone was really like hyping up Malik Reed. I seen it.
Yeah.
I think 13 sacks, I think, in the last 2 years, I think.
Yeah. 13 in the last two.
Yeah.
He's a fourth. You know what? He might mess around and start.
I've heard some people mention that because
He might mess around and start.
Highsmith has been dealing with that rib injury, so I don't know. It should be like 13 sacks there in Denver, and they only got rid of him because like salary cap and like they had their guys because they had Chubb and I think they drafted another guy or something like that.
Yeah, Mark Schlereth was on 93.7 The Fan. He said that he liked him out there, and I'll always take advice from a Hall of Fame offensive lineman, and especially a guy the caliber of Schlereth.
I mean, a Pro Bowl. He ain't no Hall of Famer.
No Hall of Famer. I might have.
Good,
He's on the border.
Yeah, I think he said like 10 or 11 sacks he could see him having or something like that. I think I read that.
I think he could do it. I think he could do it with Watt on the other side. And plus, you can always need him when Watt takes a break or gets hurt. Which
How scared were you guys when the Watt went down? Did you think that was a serious injury with the knee?
we all in the press box was like, really? What are you doing?
Why is he playing?
But what Thomas said in the press conference, boxers have to get ready by sparring.
Man, he must have really been hanging out with Mike McSorley whenever Mark Robinson and Najee Harris is up there. I gotta go talk to Mike out there if he's gonna have boxing analogies. He's one guy we need on there as well, but that's another thing.
What would you think about the cut? Like, I know Watt talked about it today. Like, you see that all the time. Like, that's been going on in football. But to do it in a preseason game, like, I know I read some people said that like coaches sometimes have agreements to like general agreements, like no cuts in preseason and stuff. And then they did the onside kick at the end, and I saw Jerry Dulac wrote a piece saying that Tomlin was upset about that.
Yeah, that's why a lot of these people got cut because the special teams. I'm like. Because I told
no, he was upset that he did an onside kick in the game when they were down already.
Oh,
yeah.
This dude crazy. He's gonna do that.
Dan Campbell? Yeah, that's his entire MO.
Preseason games don't count, but they do matter in the grand scheme of things. Number one, you gotta someday you gotta prove. Especially if it's your dress rehearsal, you're gonna be playing. You're gonna be playing as if you're gonna be going as if it's a regular game.
Man, how bad were those Lions backup quarterbacks? If the Steelers would let Mason Rudolph go, we
were like, man. I'd be surprised. I'm like, hey, Mason,
yeah.
Just go on the other sideline. Just go on the other sideline and after the game, just go back, just travel back with them.
Yeah. I mean,
work out with.
It's a tough deal for him if he's going to be the number 3 quarterback when everybody knows he could be a number 2, but all the Steelers are they don't want to have a repeat of 2019 when they had Hodges in there and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, that entire situation with the Lions quarterback room. Oh my!
It was bad, bro. I couldn't believe what I was what I was seeing before me. I'm like, whoa.
I mean, there was a lot of talk that Khan should just literally walk right into the Lions GM where his press box is and just sit down there and say, all right, what do you want for him? Here's what we want. What are you willing to give?
Bruh, they said they want a 4th round pick for him.
That's a lot for. I think when you take a look at the entire situation, I think a 5th, if they can go extended out there, is probably the best for them. When people really study the situation with Mason Rudolph and basically say, if Omar Khan would say, look, I think this guy could be good. He was dealt a really bad hand by a lot of things in this organization, and I think that if you give him something, he could give us this. He could really be someone that's worth that. That's where you have to literally just put on the smooth talk and go, this guy is good. He just had no business being a part of this organization with how things turned out.
Yeah, it's like time to move on. It's just like, and then like, okay, let's go. Let's switch gears. Speaking of quarterbacks, when do you think he's going to start? Pickett.
I'm telling you again, after the bye.
Yeah, well, Tomlin, like he's playing, trying to like play mind games with the Bengals. I guess not naming the week 1 quarterback, but everybody pretty much knows it's going to be Trubisky, just based off everything they did. I think that's the right decision, just because I didn't think Trubisky did anything to lose the position. He looked pretty good on Sunday, and like you can't start Pickett and then like bench him and like deflate his confidence, then go Trubisky. You rather just go Trubisky starts. And then, if he struggles, then you put Pickett in. And he's going to have a lot of pressure on him because, as you saw, Brandon, at Acrisure Stadium, like the Yinzer faithful, they won Pickett. They chanted.
They played Renegade in the preseason.
Really? Yeah. So
played. I was like,
there's just like so much hype around Pickett, or just Pitt football in general. The game tomorrow and stuff. Like everybody in the town really seems to love Pickett. Or they do, obviously.
I'm gonna tell you what he's probably going. It's gonna be a wild prediction. I'm gonna say week 7 he's gonna be the starter. He's gonna get pulled. I'm gonna tell you what potentially. Look out for this.
Miami, I think maybe.
Yeah. No, but he's gonna start. His first game match is gonna be week 6. Because look at here.
Against the Bucks.
Yeah. Say they lose to Cincinnati. Then they lose to New England. 0-2. Cleveland. Short week. Thursday night. Don't always go well for the road team.
I'll say this: if they start the season off 0-3, it's going to have something to do with the offense and the quarterback play.
Yeah.
So I'll say week 4 he'll start if that's the case.
I'll say they beat Cleveland. Who they play next?
Jets.
Winnable game. We'll give them that. Week 5 is
Buffalo, and then
they'll get dog walk that game.
They'll probably beat really bad those 2 games, I would imagine.
They're gonna get dog walked, and in the midst of getting dog walked at home against Tampa Bay.
And then they got Miami on Sunday.
Whoa!
Oh, okay.
Trubisky's gonna. They're gonna. That's when the Kenny chances really gonna start. Right there. Watch. I'm guaranteed it's like Kenny. I'm telling you. Why they getting?
Don't want to capture so many feelings of that 04 season in which Ben just went in there and just shocked the world.
Yeah.
That's
look, what I think he's gonna start.
Look, everyone looks at like this. Right. As long as Tom Brady is on that opposing sideline, it's basically the Patriots. They technically faced New England twice.
Yeah, that's a good point. It basically is the same thing and everything. But tough start of the schedule, because they got the Dolphins on Sunday night in Miami. Then they play the Eagles, who they got a new cornerback. So they've made some big moves this offseason. So what do you like? All right, we'll make our predictions next week, obviously, with the season coming up. But who would that be? Their first 8 games? What do you think their record will be after the first 8 games?
3-5.
3-5. So you think 3? Who would they beat? You got Cleveland and the Jets.
Cleveland, the Jets, and Miami.
Right. Okay. I don't think it's going to be no better than 3-5. I think. I'll be surprised if they went 4-4.
If they're 500, then that's exactly why. Because I always think that there's going to be some sort of game in which the Steelers surprise them, and I think it might be that New England game because that's a home opener.
I could give them that, and even the week 1 game, as crazy as it sounds, because the Bengals are, they have more talent, especially on offense.
That's a letdown game right there for the
Bengals. I didn't think they were going to beat Buffalo last year in Week 1. So you just kind of never know with Week 1 games. But man, that Week 5 game and Week 6 game, I'm not too confident in those games.
I just never like I just never like teams that have currently their organization together. And even though there was a little bit of turbulence with Tampa, still, when you have a guy that's known as like the saint of stability in Tom Brady, they can do anything.
Yeah.
I could see Tampa Bay being all right for a while and then turning it on towards the end of the season. And I think that's one of those games that Tom Brady knows he's probably got one more chance to beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and that's
Oh yeah, you know he loves beating.
Oh, he loves to literally just stomp on our hearts.
And you guys don't think they're going to beat the Eagles in Philadelphia, where the Steelers historically have always struggled playing that?
Would be a hell of a time to go turn that around.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm Ty Polk, that's Chris Ward, that's Brandon Walker, and you have been listening to the Renegade Blitz.
Thank you for listening to the Renegade Blitz podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Renegade Blitz, at @RBlitzPod, and @BlitzVideos. Read articles on RenegadeBlitz.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. The Renegade Blitz podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, and wherever else you can listen to podcasts.